Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim coming to you from Delray Beach. I'm at the Toyota dealer getting my oil changed, and I wanted to make a video this morning, I'll get right to it, about collecting your Social Security at the age of 62 rather than waiting until your full retirement age or even 63 or 64. Now, I've made a few videos about this, and I've had a lot of growth from my channel because it's been one of my popular subjects, and it's helped a lot of people make their decision. And there's a lot of people that disagree with it, and that is fine. But it seems like the vast majority of the people didn't know either they could collect at 62, or all the math that we brought up about all the money that you would be leaving on the table, which is over $100,000 in my case, because I draw over $20,000 per year at $1,700 a month. For me to wait 5 more years to collect another $700 roughly is really silly. I think it's a scam, and I think that it's wrong, and I think that you should be collecting Social Security and retire at 55. So the point of this video is not to rehash the math. We know the math. You can look at the previous videos I've made. It's just kind of an open and shut case. There's no way you're ever going to collect more money by waiting over your lifetime unless you live to be a ripe old age. And then what are you going to do with it? And that brings me to the point of this video. I want to talk to you about age and aging, because this is really more important than any kind of math or amount of money you're going to get. Folks, as I said, we should retire at 55 years old. You spend the first 20 years of your life growing up. You're nothing but a kid. Then you spend the next third of your life basically working, sleeping, and eating in a prison job. And then you have this short window, this last chapter of your life, as you progress into aging, to live your life and enjoy what they call retirement. I used an analogy one time about, look at a kid that's 12 years old and look at that same kid at 17 years old, of what a difference there is. Look how much progression in 5 years that a 12-year-old goes to a 17-year-old. They're much stronger, they're brighter, and they really develop. And the same thing happens from a 62-year-old to a 67-year-old, but in the opposite. Not in all cases, but in general, we do start to decline in our health. So what I wanted to say and talk about this past couple of days, Tammy and I, my girlfriend, we took a trip for the first time in a very long time back over to Sarasota, where we come from. And all we kept talking about is how we haven't done something like this in so long, and that how we just sit around all the time, day in and day out. We go to the gym, we take our walks, we try to find some kind of fun, and we're enjoying our life, believe me, we are, but not to the fullest. And for those that want to continue to work to get $700 more money, and then you find yourself have changed from 62. I'm 64, I'm going to be 65 in December, so I'm like 64 and more than a half. And I can tell you folks, I'm one of the more youthful, more healthy people in my age. I know this. You can see it. I know it. I'm not bragging. I go to the gym. I quit drinking. I try to stay healthy. And I know there's millions out there like me. God bless you. But most people do change. And I'm going to speak for myself. I've changed. Even with all the health that I still maintain that I have, I am not. And I found out this weekend, driving Tammy's car, I am not as flexible. I am not as youthful. I get tired and want to go to bed earlier, as I was just back at 62, just 2.5 years ago. So my point is, I am getting older. And what good would it be, folks, for you to try to worship the money to get $700 more, and then finally you could become the age of 67, or you're one of these people that think you need to be 70 to get the biggest possible check. And then you have no health or no life mentality. You've changed your mind. You don't want to take road trips. You don't want to drive across the country. You don't want to hook up a camper and disconnect it and go through all the stuff there is. You don't want to do a lot of the you don't want to play frisbee. You don't want to go water skiing. You don't want to paddle out on a surfboard and surf anymore. all of these things are starting to like go down in your desires because you're changing. You're changing a little physically, but a lot mentally. So I say you should start getting your money and working part-time. You always have to work. If I waited till I was 67, I would still have to work. $700 isn't some magic number that's going to pay all my bills. And the key is to not have bills, to have a low debt, no debt. And that's really what I preach about is when you get ready to retire at 62, make your debt as low as you can, if nothing, and just have your Social Security and work a part-time side hustle, and that way you can enjoy your life. And start doing things. Don't just sit around. I learned from this trip we took yesterday, we're not gonna waste. I've been sitting in a camper trailer. I've been doing some side hustles, and it's been about a year and a half. And I have not done the things that I want to be doing, and I cannot get those days and months back. They are gone. They are history. And just think about it, folks. Yesterday, you were 50. Yesterday, you were in school. Yesterday, your kids were small. That's how fast time goes. Don't wait and keep worshiping your 401, your pension, and this job to get to the point. Now, I'm going to finish this video by telling you this that I was thinking about. Once you do get, did you know, I'm going to speak to the men now. Did you know that the average age, life expectancy in the United States for a male is 73 years old? That's the average. Okay, you're going to live to be 100. You're going to live to be 90. You're going to live to be 80. This guy's backing up. Sorry about that. That'll go off in just a second, hopefully. What is your mind and your physical abilities going to be from 67 full retirement age or 70, and let's say you go past the 73 years old to 80 years old before you pass away, or 85, whatever it is. What is that life? All that is a preparation of leaving this world. You may be the exception, but most people, I live in South Florida, I see them every day when they come into the Publix where I do samples, and everywhere I go, because we have a lot of senior citizens here in South Florida. And I know they're in their early 70s or mid 70s, and they're already looking like they're not water skiing, they're not throwing frisbee, they're not looking to take road trips, they're not doing anything. They're just looking for the early bird specials and sitting around in their chairs and going to shuffleboard and meeting their friends at church and groups and stuff. They're really going slow. And if you think that having all that extra money to do nothing but just aging is where it's at, I say as soon as you can collect your Social Security, as soon as you feel you're at your healthiest, start living your life and live every day. The minute you start getting that money, don't just sit around. Work your side hustles. You're only gonna be working part-time. You got plenty of time to go do things. Keep active, do fun things. Look back on your life and say, I had a good one. Don't just look back and say, I'm saving and saving and saving, and then at 73 years old. And let's say this, one last thing. You reach past the 73 years old of the life expectancy. And then we read every day. Tammy looks on her phone, talks about it all the time. She opens her phone, and this person died, and that person died. They were in perfect health, and they were nowhere near 73 years old. Anything can happen, folks. The sicknesses and diseases that are in our world today, we just came out of this world crisis thing. There's so many things. And I made a video about going to the doctor is a hazard sometimes because they misdiagnose. They put you on the wrong medications, the wrong surgeries. All kinds of things can happen just by nature from the foods that we're eating. This terrible food, that processed food that we buy and eat, can give you cancers, heart disease, which is the first 2 leading causes of death. Hit by a bus, freak accident. You never know when you're going to check out of this world. So why waste a day? Start cruising, start living, get your Social Security at 60 years old, 62 years old, and get your debt paid down and start crushing it.